all, how much of a surprise or not is this announcement?
In Senegal, it's not so much of a surprise. Clearly, there were question marks. A few months ago, the Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, had said that, France shouldn't have military bases in Senegal forever. That clearly this is an issue of sovereignty. The president, whom we saw in that report, then came here to Paris. He met with the French president. The French president asked him directly, do you still want our military presence? And the Senegalese president said, well, we have to think about it. Clearly, they thought about it and they've decided that this is the end of the military presence in Dakar, the capital of Senegal. It does.
Clearly, they thought about it and they decided that this is the end of French military occupation in Senegal. This is good news. This is beautiful news. This is what we have been expecting from our leaders. And you see the reason why we are saying let's elect digital mind thinking leaders in Africa. This is what we've been talking about. We cannot continue to elect analog thinking people and think that things will change. We are now on a digital age, and then we must elect leaders who think digitally, and they will kick all colonial criminals out of Africa. This is a beautiful news that you as an African will be proud of. Let's go and watch the video, come back and analyze it. How Senegal and then Chad decide to kick the French out, just as Burkina Faso, those in the Sahel, have done. Now, what is left is for Chad and Senegal that we have been expecting now to join the Sahel Alliance. The Sahel is growing. And then the Sahel must give us the freedom, the sovereignty that we've been crying for as African people. I thank you very much for coming around. I am your missionary brother Dobia Anzanse. One African mission, the number one African mission. We are on a mission. And our mission is all about the unity of Africa and our dignity as a people. If we really want to have a dignified Africa, Africa where the children of Africa, the destiny of African children are decided by the Africans themselves, then we must fight to unite the continent of Africa. That is why we are embarking on this mission, a mission of a united Africa. We intend to travel the 54 states in Africa to preach the gospel of a united Africa to our people. Please support our mission. How do you support us? Is by sharing what we are doing. If you are coming across us for the first time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like it, pass your comments, because sometimes it's frustrating that you see 10 people watch the video without even giving us one like. Please don't just watch, but try and like it and then pass your comments. We are learning a lot from your comments. I thank you very much for coming around. Please let's watch the video, come back, and then talk about it.
Well, for some analysis now, I'm joined on set by our French politics editor, Mark Perelman. Mark, first of all, how much of a surprise or not is this announcement?
In Senegal, it's not so much of a surprise. Clearly, there were question marks. A few months ago, the Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, had said that, France shouldn't have military bases in Senegal forever. That clearly this is an issue of sovereignty. The president, whom we saw in that report, then came here to Paris. He met with the French president. The French president asked him directly, do you still want our military presence? And the Senegalese president said, well, we have to think about it. Clearly, they thought about it and they've decided that this is the end of the military presence in Dakar, the capital of Senegal. It doesn't come so much of a surprise also because Macron has designated an envoy, Jean-Marie Bockel, to figure out the new military presence in 4 African countries, including Senegal, and he traveled to 3 of those countries, except one, Senegal. He said that it was because there were elections there, but clearly it's also because he was probably not welcome, and today we have the answers. The French soldiers will have to leave. We don't know exactly when, but now this has been set in motion. The base in Dakar will shut down in the foreseeable future.
Yes, so as I said before, what could be good news for us who are fighting for the unity of Africa, for the sovereignty of Africa, for our continent? what could we be proud of than to see Senegal, the young leaders in Senegal, kicking out the French troops, the French occupiers out of Senegal, because these people have been there for over 70 years. They have been there even when Senegal got their independence. These people refused to go. And the reason why they refuse to go is to stay and continue to dictate to you what to do. If you decide not to follow them, not to follow the status quo, then they can overthrow your government. That is what they have been. All the military president that they have in Africa, all the military bases that they have, they are there for criminal purposes, not for the good of our people. And it is not only Senegal that did that. Chad also kicked them out.
Now, Chad has also put an end to the defense partnership with France. This is considered quite a historic turning point for the country, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is indeed a surprise. This is not what the French authorities were working on. Jean-Marie Bockel, whom I just mentioned, was in Chad. He had said a few months ago, of course, France will stay in terms of military presence. We need to stay. And there had been discussions about reducing the number of French troops, also about possibly keeping France has not only one base, but it has 3 military bases in the country. And the idea was to have fewer soldiers, but to remain present in those 3 different areas. And the French were quite optimistic that there would be a solution. And so the fact that the Chadian authorities have decided that this is the end, and that the soldiers will have to leave, we don't know exactly when, came really as a surprise. And maybe I should add a humiliation also, because the French foreign minister was in Chad and he met with his counterparts. They made a statement together, and a few hours after he left, Chad issued a statement saying this is the end of the defense agreement. Their foreign minister then said, this is not like in the Sahel, we're not kicking the French out, we'll make sure we discuss how we proceed. But this is really a historical break, because Chad is the country in Africa where France has intervened militarily the most. I mean, they've been there for decades, and they were counting on this, because whereas in Gabon, in Senegal, in Ivory Coast, the presence is more symbolic than anything else. In Chad, it's strategic because it's a region close to Sudan, close to the Republic of Central Africa, and Chad has also been active in fighting jihadist groups. So the French were really counting on this from a strategic standpoint. So it's really bad news for Paris, and certainly not something they were waiting for.
Chad also said, you know what, it is time for you guys to leave. You guys claim you are there to help us fight whatever, terrorists, but yet you are not fighting anything. That was the same thing that those in the Sahel, they saw, and then they kicked them out. And, you know, these people, now they are trying to make Nigeria as their new home. That is what France is doing. And what is it that the Nigeria President Tinubu is not seeing? How can the French turn up trying to have a relationship with Nigeria when you know your neighbors, how the kind of treatment that they give to your people, your own brothers and sisters in the Sahel? You see why we need a united Africa? This is the reason why, so that individual states will not be taking decisions that will affect the continent of Africa. But yes, it is a good news. It is the best news you can ever hear. To see that, or to hear that Senegal and Chad, they have decided to also kick the French out. That tells you that this generation of Africans, we are serious. We really mean business. So the only thing we can say is, thank you very much to the leadership, to the young leadership in Chad and also Senegal. But we are urging you, please do not just stop there. The Sahel Alliance, you are part of the Sahel. Join the Sahel Alliance. Let the Sahel Alliance, they have started the revolution to unite the continent of Africa. And if Senegal and Chad can join, then we are progressing. Remember, America didn't just become 50 states one day. America started by some states. Some states saw the need for unity, the power in unity. They started it. Others joined. And today, America is the most powerful country in the world. Take it or leave it. So yes, 3 states in West Africa started the Sahel. That is the unification of Africa. We are expecting others to join. And eventually, the continent, the 54 states in Africa will realize that the only way we can overcome these colonial criminals is to unite the continent of Africa. And eventually, we will unite the continent of Africa so that future generation of Africans' dignity, their future will not be dictated to them by the colonial criminals. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you appreciate what we are doing here in One Africa Mission, the #1 Africa Mission, we are on a mission, and our mission is all about the unification of Africa and our dignity as a people. If you appreciate what we are doing, please then support our mission. How do you support us? Is by sharing what we are doing. If you are watching us for the first time, if you haven't subscribed, please try and subscribe. Let us take our subscription to at least 10K subscribers by the end of this year. I'm pleading with you. Let's do it. We can do it for the continent of Africa, for the next generation of Africans. Let's do it. Support our mission. Let us fight for a united Africa and for a dignified Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. I thank you very much for coming around. I am your missionary brother Dobia Anzanse. And for those of you who are supporting us, I would like to say thank you very much for your support. Those of you contacting me and asking me they want to join One Africa Mission. Yes, we are planning to come out with something big. Let us all together handle a better Africa for the next generation of Africans. Because today, me and you, we are not happy with this Africa that we have. An Africa where the destiny of Africans are being dictated to them by other people, by Chinese, by Arabians, by whoever. We cannot afford to handle the same Africa to the next generation of Africans. So let me and you bring that change. And then we can do it. If we can only bring our energies collectively together, we can handle a better Africa for the next generation of Africans. Let us do it for our collective good. I thank you very much for coming around. Until we meet again, please try and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also on Facebook, we are there. You can support us. Let's do it for the next generation of Africans. Thank you very much.